Welcome to the Instinctive Influencers Podcast, a show where influence becomes one of your tools for success. Now, here are your hosts, Brian Weber and Ed Haley.
Hi, I'm Brian.
And I am James.
And this is the Instinctive Influencers Podcast. James, great to see you, man. It's been 1 year since our last episode we put out. A lot has happened. A lot has taken place. I think what we got to do to kind of help everybody understand what's going on is probably a year in review. Wouldn't you think?
I mean, I hold on, Brian. You got technical difficulties here. You can tell it's been a year. It's been a heck of a year. It's been a long year.
Yeah, it has. It has. There's so much that's taken place. Last time I checked, I think you, before we started recording this, you ended up getting that new job. Or not before this, but before our last one, you ended up getting a new job. Yeah, and I've moved jobs since then. Hey, what are you doing for work now?
I'm still in that job for now, but I'm getting ready to start the all-important transition. So, job for now, I do have somebody that I am training to replace me so that I can move on. And then it's navigating what's next. Literally, we're only in January. We bought a house, so I'm moving this month, into what I hope to be the forever home, because I don't plan on moving again because I hate it. We got too much Lego, so it's part of the problem.
The kid inside you just can't let it go, right?
I mean, it's rough. I like being creative, and now, especially if I get a job where I work from home, there's gonna be a lot of Lego built. I'm sure of it.
A job where you work from home. But I mean, that's not so. We're going to go into this. You now have an approved retirement date from the United States Army. You will be done very soon, or somewhat soon.
I will be done. Yes. So I go on leave in July, and my last official day in the Army is Halloween.
That's crazy. That's how many years?
26 years, 7 months, and 19 days. Not counting. They literally they give you a piece of paper that tells you your time.
Really? That's something else. And so with that though, are you looking in a certain field now? I mean, obviously you're trying to broaden your horizon to see what's out there in the civilian market, because you're not going to stop working, right?
No, actually, I mean, you might not be able to make it out behind me on the board. Is plan A through D. So there's plans in place. Kind of really looking at going into teaching. There's some things I got to navigate to make that happen. Another viable option is to continue to serve soldiers and work for the VA. There's a program that I'm looking into where you would work for the VA. So kind of got my oars moving all over the place, kind of navigate it. Just depends, what's there. So but very much, I'm going to tell you, Brian, when you get to this point and you're ready to retire, organize, and just figure it out very early, how to get through the different hoops towards retirement, because it seems so much easier than it really is.
Really? Yeah. Now, it's funny. You got that thing on your back of your board, and literally the first thing that came to my mind is the operations process: plan, prepare, execute, and then assess. And that's I think you're in the plan is already kind of there. You're in the prepare, and you're almost ready to execute. And it's funny that we still have that, no matter what, how far removed we could be or we're about to be, to have that in our mindset. And those are, there's people out there that they've never heard of such a thing. And it's an Army thing. It's the operations process, and it's very simple, but it can be very convoluted over time, if you're doing certain things a certain way. So it's amazing. I know one of your I knew one of your things is the same as mine, and it's almost like, man, if we could have this thing at the same time and even be at the same school, that would be phenomenal. Like, and that's to
I
become a
mean,
teacher, right?
you just got to come right back here to Tennessee. Um,
Which will
Hopefully
happen.
by the time you finally retire, I'll be with one of our previous guests, Furman. I'll be working with him. So he works for the school here on post. Um, Loves it, absolutely loves it. Been retired a few years. So yeah, maybe I'll be there with him, and then we'll welcome you into the fold.
That, hey, I would be more than happy to do that. Like, I don't know. It's been one of those things that's on my, the forefront of like what I want to do when I am out of the service. But I don't want to count my chickens yet, man, because I've always enjoyed what I do, and I am enjoying it. And yes, I'm going to have to retire at some point. Yes, absolutely. I totally agree. It's just I don't think I'm there yet. I think my
No,
wife's
you're
almost
not.
there. I think my
You'll
wife's
know.
pretty much almost there, and she's gonna be like, "Yeah, it's time." I think she just wants to go home. This last this past year, been another crazy changes. We moved again, which would be our sixth move in 6 years. So every year for 6 years now, we have moved, and uh, it's been kind of hectic.
Yep.
Needless to say, I would say that I think one of the best choices we made when it came to Army PCS is we bought a camper and we use that as our PCS mobile. Love it. We can only spend so much time in there. And then it turns into like it's just like so we find ways to get out, do stuff with the kids, and just kind of find our alone time. Like a lot of times, what I'll do, and actually, I recorded an episode of a podcast with a buddy of mine on his podcast one day. I'll sit outside. I just sit outside in a nice little rocking chair that I have, and just hang out and chill, listen to music, watch TV, watch football games, and it kind of allows me to kind of have my own personal space because I like being outside. You know,
I mean,
except when
I
it's
mean,
way too cold. What's that?
self care is so important. Stuff like that, and having it. I actually want to build a little tranquil spot at the new house since it's forever home now. I want to
Yeah,
build like a little like spot with a fire pit, and we got a pretty good sized backyard. So especially living in a subdivision, you know how it is. Normally they pack the houses in, but we got a pretty good sized backyard. And I see some of the ability to make a nice spot because I that's something I've been doing the last year is I've really been delving in more and more into self-care. Self-care has been a
yeah.
thing. Yeah, whether it's meditation, just taking the dogs for a walk with some music on and just enjoying it. Better with the big dog. So we have Winston, which I don't know that we didn't have last time we did the podcast.
No, you did
I
not.
have a Labradoodle named Winston, named after Sir Winston Churchill, of course. And
Yeah.
he will not go potty on the leash. So when you take him for a walk, it's a nice walk. Then I have my poodle Patton, and
Wait a
she
second.
is going
Whoa,
to
whoa.
pee. When Patton will pee 100 times on a 10-minute walk. She has to pee every few feet, so the walk is not as enjoyable, but you still get it.
I'm confused. Winston does not use the bathroom while on the leash.
Take him off the leash, he'll go. On the leash, he will not. We trained him. We were going to Gatlinburg. We were going up into the Smoky Mountains, and we are like, "Hey, he's got to
Mhm.
be on a leash. There's a bear threat is real there." It was
Yeah,
that time
it
of
is.
year. We were going in early October. He was not having it. He will not go. We can go for a 5-mile walk. He will not go to the bathroom. Take him off the leash. He'll go off onto the side, do his business, keep it moving.
That's weird. I've never heard of
Yeah,
that.
it's and we've tried with a vest on. We've tried him with just his collar. He just does not like to go. He's also got fear of missing out. He's got FOMO real bad. So he's literally laying on my feet are warm because he's literally laying on them right now.
Oh, he's in there with you. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
He must definitely be your guy.
He's supposed to be my wife's, but they're both mine.
It's funny. It happened in my house too. Because we have, my goodness, we've had a new dog since we've done this too. Because we have
Yeah.
Rufus. Rufus is Eva's dog,
Rufus. I like
and
who named him.
I think it was a collective whole. It was actually on a squeaky toy that we bought, and originally she wanted to name him Marshmallow, and I was like, Eva, come on, like straight up, like it's a boy. Let's not name him Marshmallow. And I'm not trying to be like, I didn't feel comfortable being outside saying, "Hey, Marshmallow, come over here." Like I didn't feel
Oh.
comfortable with that. So I kind of talked her out of it, and then we kind of came into this Rufus thing. So we have Jimmy, which is the coolest, laziest dog. Sleeps 23 out of the 24 hours a day. I That's my guy. I love it to death. He's scared of lightning and thunder, so that's his weakness, lightning and thunder, which makes me realize he's probably the worst hunting dog ever.
Oh
If you
yeah.
shoot near him, he'll probably run away. That's probably why we have him, is because he was a stray when we got him a few years back. And then you have Rufus, who we have to put him in a kennel at night, just to get him to stop and to slow down. All right. And he'll sleep through the night. But as soon as you open that kennel, it's 100 miles an hour the entire time he's up. He doesn't stop.
Oh yeah.
And he's go,
Oh,
go, 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 go. And I'm just like, this dog is insane. And he's a miniature Australian Shepherd. I did want to,
smart.
yeah, I did want to hurt him one day, but I wouldn't. I'm against that. He, we had my in-laws were in town, and he'd got out of his kennel because we don't leave him out when we're not there. He got out of his kennel, and then somehow the room that he was in, the door closed on him, and he thought, well, the easiest way out of this room is I'm going to dig under the door
Oh
to get out.
no.
The carpet. I got to replace the carpet in that room. And it just happened to be my master bedroom. At the front of the door, he ripped the entire carpet up. I'd say about a 2x3 area that I'm gonna have to replace the whole carpet for the whole room. Because of this 2 foot by 3 foot, like he shredded that carpet. And I think he
Yeah.
realized once he got to the concrete that's underneath the floor, he's like, oh, I think I'm getting out of here.
Oh
So
no.
crazy
So
stuff. Yeah.
Sir Winston did it on our stairs because the gate was there, the baby gate, and he decided to go under the baby gate. But luckily, because it was on the stairs, housing came and replaced it. They didn't charge me anything because it was on the landing. So that one piece, my father installed carpet for 40 years. I could feel where the seam was. So it was literally just a piece on the landing that had been sealed to the rest. So that's the only part that had to come out. And housing
Really?
came and did it. They came and did it and didn't charge us. But yeah, Winston shredded that thing. But then Winston ate it too. So for like the next
Oh,
few days, when Winston would go outside to go potty, he would have carpet string, and then he'd have this poo. He'd have this turd on a string, and he's trying to get away from it. And you're
oh,
watching this thing. I should have videoed it. That would be funny because he would run around the yard because he could feel it there, but it wouldn't drop because the string.
yeah, yeah.
But
I
we
know
were
exactly
lucky
what it
because it
is.
could have been, yeah, it could have hurt him. I mean, we were pretty lucky. So he's he's
Yeah,
he's he's different. Winston is different.
yeah.
He is
It's
not as
insane.
smart as his sister.
Yeah. I Man's best friend, they call it. But I'll tell you what, I do enjoy both of our animals. Hey, we're gonna kind of go a little bit more in this year
Yeah.
in review. So we've done a lot of things. I've moved. I told you I moved. You're getting ready to retire. I moved from Texas, and now I'm in Georgia, out of Savannah area. If so, those who are listening,
Beautiful area.
they may know. Yeah. Well, and the problem is when we moved, then I had to take a flight to another country for a week or so, do some things there, then fly back, and then the holiday season happened, and so we went home and we came back, and now obviously this would not be my normal studio, so to speak, setup, right? This is, and I'm using a different type of camera right now, which is actually the webcam on my MacBook. I'm in a hotel because I am now at a school in Fort Leavenworth. By the way, it's negative 12 degrees outside, which I
Yeah.
don't like at all. So at all, no. It's like one of those winds too. When the wind gusts a little bit, it just cuts right through you, and you're just like, "Oh, this is so miserable." I've never been here before. Not a bad little post. It looks like the town outside pretty much thrives off the soldiers here, and
Oh
possibly
yeah.
the work that's over at the the correctional facility that's also here. Because a lot of people, they probably think Fort Leavenworth. They go, "Oh, isn't that where the prison's at?" Absolutely, but it's not the only thing that's here. There's a lot of nice things, a lot of older stuff, newer stuff too. It's an
Well, there's
older
a few
post.
schools. I know on the officer side, several of them go there for school too. As a matter of fact, the
Yeah,
captain that I work with in Germany, she'll be at Leavenworth in July.
yeah, yeah,
I'm going there for
yeah. They
school.
do for the course that right before they become a major, they come
Yeah.
here for school. Yeah, that's a great course too. I'm actually in the pre-command course, which it's funny because that's usually where you send your lieutenant colonels, your colonels, and your sergeant majors going into battalions and brigades. And I'm going into a battalion. Actually, I'm already there. So I literally took my position because usually you do the school before you take your position and then you go to your position. Well, I had to go take the position and then go to the school. Um, but it's not a bad course. It's one of those things where you kind of you're learning some things and understanding now. I'm seeing the after effects of this course. I've seen it for years, and now I'm understanding why I saw those of like how commanders and how sergeant majors interacted and got involved and stuff like that. And I agree with a good deal of it. There are some things that that's not in my DNA. I don't feel like it's my thing to do. But I feel like it is fun because you're kind of it's a and I'm not going to talk about the conversations, the classroom and stuff like that because I just don't feel it's I wouldn't want to violate anybody's privacy. But some of the conversations I'm listening to, and I'm just like, okay, all right, I understand. I see where you're coming from. Not my cup of tea, but
Not my
it
thing.
allows you. Yeah, not my thing. It allows you to kind of do you. But I'm pretty excited though because the organization I kind of got to take over. I've got a great commander. I'm excited with this individual. He actually was funny story. My current brigade commander was a battalion commander when I was in Korea. He wasn't mine, but he was in Korea with me. So I knew him before. But I did not know that my current battalion commander was his XO at the same time. I never met him. We were in
Oh,
Korea together for the whole time. I never even met him once. So it's kind of cool. With that though, like there's a lot of people. So all four of our battalion sergeant majors, we all went to school together. All four of us that year in the academy, we all went to school together. We all know each other, kind of, sort of. And so our work relationship and how we interact, it's kind of fun. I enjoy it. I like this group. Uh, they're the kind of people that's like, we all have this different type of personality. There's the pit bull, there's the silent killer in there. There's like the lead the way. I'm the oldest person. I'll take charge type person in there.
that's me.
And then
That's
there's
me.
that is you. And then but you're not with me, so that's so sad.
Yeah.
And then there's that individual who's kind of helping you think outside the box, and it's so fun. But with that being said, it's like that was another move for my family, and that made it as a struggle for us to do this show because here we're going to talk about some challenges that we've faced to be able to get this show going. James, just as well as I do. Sometimes your plate gets so full, and it's not like I want people to picture like you're at Thanksgiving dinner and you have this big old plate of food and you're eating it, and then you're like, but I still want some of that dessert over there. But you're eating all this good food and you're so full, and you're like, I can't eat that dessert right now because I'm too full. So I got to save that dessert for later. And I feel like, and you probably feel the same way too, James, is this show, although it's a hobby, it's like one of those hobbies that helps me it helps my stress levels. I feel like it helps me with my own personal growth and development. But it's the thing that had to take the back burner. It had to be that dessert that I couldn't eat quite yet because I'm still full from all the other stuff going on. What your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been a rough year. I mean, Brian, a lot of times, I mean, when you hit that mark where you're about a year from retirement, most people take a step back and
Mm-hmm.
they focus on retirement. and I'm still going to work every day at 6 in the morning. I'm still staying till the last soldier's leaving. Um, so navigating that, and then, I did the job, been doing the job that you did when you were here with me,
It's
and
awesome job. There's a
they took things
lot to it.
out, right? They took things out
Hmm.
of the curriculum, and then
Hmm.
soon as I got in the seat, they're saying, "Oh, well, we're going to put things back into the curriculum." And some of these things have a lot of planning involved. So land navigation, so using a compass and a map to find
Ooh,
4 known points.
I have an
Uh,
opinion on that.
so there's so much more to it though. Like it's more than just being able to teach the class. Now I got to figure out, how do I teach my NCOs, my cadre? How do I teach them how to teach the class? How do I teach them how to conduct it? I got to test them. I got to think about safety. I got to think about safety in the winter, safety in the summer. Two totally different things. We're gonna do it at night. What's that look like? Because we didn't do it at night when you and I were here. So now I got to
No.
figure. So all these things, and then there's another part that they added, and and then you've got like the army does a wonderful job of taking care of new parents, but there's some challenges that come with me being able to let one of my senior leaders take 12 weeks away. There's
Ooh.
challenges in that, and so there's a
Mhm.
lot to it. And honestly, Brian, that I would work so hard Monday through Friday that Saturday and Sunday I just wasn't focused on much else. And oh, by the way,
Mhm.
one class from my master's. So I've been
I'm so
navigating that.
excited, man. That's awesome.
I'm gonna give myself. Let me reach back here. Let me get that pat on the back here. One class from my master's. I have only had A's and been on the dean's list the entire time in my master's. I'm very, 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 very proud of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there's navigating that. Then, oh, I need a house. Oh, let's look at. I don't even know how many. I told my wife. I said, we look at one more house. After that, only you're looking at houses because I'm not looking at no more stinking houses. I was so sick of seeing houses. Uh, and then we would put in an offer, and then the seller wasn't as motivated as we were, so we had to back out of some deals that, I mean, they were
Mm.
nice houses. But yeah, so navigating all of that, all those things, my plate was full. Um,
No, I
yeah,
wouldn't doubt it.
but for
I
the
would
year, I
not
took
doubt it.
no leave. I took no time off last year in that calendar year. Um, just the normal whatever Martin Luther King, which today is Martin Luther King Day, things like that I
Absolutely.
would take off, but
Yeah.
I took no leave at all in 2023. But I am looking forward to being on leave from July until November. I'm looking forward to that. And I'm going to
Ah,
Disney in March. I'm going to Disney for my wife's birthday in March. So I'm looking forward to that too.
wow, that is a lot to take in. That's a lot to do, and that's part of the challenge. Like it's that idea of, once again, it's we have a plate and it's so full with all the delicious things that we have to take in, and there's a lot, like, so being able to involve yourself in something outside of what your responsibilities can, it can kind of be foggy sometimes because you know what you love to do and you want to do, you know.
Hmm.
And not on top of that, like, let's just let's just say we had the time to record, just to record,
Yeah.
right? We still have planning and preparation for every show because that's what we try to do. Matter of fact, literally just before this started, we were actually on a different chat server, uh, chit
Having a
chatting,
staff
but
meeting.
we have, yeah, like having a meeting. Hey, this is what we're going to do on this show, to kind of evolve it into what we want it to be for our listeners and those who are on, who watch. And for those of you, this is really just, hey, this is a welcome back. We're back to it. We're making plans. We have plans for the future. There are things that are going to take place we've already kind of planned for. For instance, you're about to move into a house, and you've got to have a spread of time that we already talked about, like the next couple weeks. You're not going to be recording because you're going from point A to point B, same area. But we're not going to be able to record during that because you're not going to have internet until a certain time,
Yeah, I
like,
think the 29th or something like that. Because it is,
yeah.
and it's a new build, so they have to come. It's not a like, hey, just turn it on. It's a
Right.
new, yeah. But I do have an office. I have a very nice office. My wife gave me one at the front, nice big window, lots of light.
Oh, I'm excited.
And because we have a dedicated Lego room, I won't have as much Lego in my office, which is good
Mm.
and sad. Um, yeah, and my garage is painted floors, so I will be able to put the Peloton out there. I'm trying to talk her into a Peloton tread, but I
Mm.
haven't got her there yet.
Those things are nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just there's a lot to take in, with the entire process. And where I was getting with that also is then we got editing, and it takes me about an hour to 2 hours to edit each show, and it's a lot involved to do that. Of course, I don't do like we used to. When originally, I used to cut a lot of stuff out that was just like, I think that's just too many too many of this, that's too much long
What?
pause. Yeah. Well, we were learning, right? We were learning, and
Yeah.
then I'm finally realizing it's like, hey, why don't we just be authentic? We just do us, right? And whatever it be. If you decide to pick your nose, then I'm going to leave it in
I
there.
scratched.
I'm not.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Well, leave it in there.
Exactly. Right.
We're not gonna do this, so we know.
Oh
we know
yeah,
where to
yeah.
edit.
Yeah, the edit. Yeah. So those of you who don't know, we used to we would do a clap when we knew we had to add, or we had to like put a pause so I
Yeah.
could cut it out because something happened. Like I had to go to the bathroom. Like
In
how many
Korea, I remember
times?
that.
Yeah, how many times did we have to pause the show just so I could go to the bathroom? But I didn't want to stop recording because I wanted to keep it all as one big segment. So we would just make a noise and then we'd come back and clap. And then, then I knew when I looked at it, oh, cut from here to here. All right, now taper together. So it's kind of funny, a lot of the things that we have learned over the years and those challenges of recording. I think we've gotten better at what we have to do. And I'm really excited where we're going to go with the different show formats here, not formats, but topics, and how we'll go about it. But
So I
and
do
yeah,
want to. I have to give you. You talking about editing, Brian, and I have to tell you how much I appreciate the job you do with the editing. So I had a facilitator, a cadre, competing for the cadre of the year, facilitator
yeah,
of the year award, and you have to record their video at. She did counseling, so it was like 3 hours, but I can only submit 25 minutes. 3 hours. And I got to find 25 minutes that shows all the experiential learning model steps and good questioning techniques. Brian, it took me 5 hours to edit this thing down to 25 minutes. It was 1:30 in the morning, and I stopped
right.
because I had a couple bourbons. Um, I respect you and what you do with the editing so much after that experience because I
Yeah,
had, every time they took a break. So I had like 7 or 8 blocks that now I got to put sequentially in order, edit them
yeah,
down, get rid of the get rid of the students who give ridiculous answers or very short answers or
yeah.
mumble. Yes. So I just want to do that while you're talking about editing. I want to tell you how
Yeah.
much I appreciate the job you do.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. James, we are going to cut this short today. We're only going to go to 40 minute mark, and we're down to 8.5 minutes left. And for those of
Already.
you, we're going to try to build our format to where we stay within a 40-minute mark because, well, really, we just need to be able to kind of develop the show so they're not too entirely long. Good short listens. But what I wanted to just get into real quick, James, before we jump into the next topic down the road is our future expectations. So right now we have about a list of about right now 17 different topics for the show. And me and you back and forth like we did back in the day where I'm going to bring one, you bring one, I'll bring one, you bring one of the topics that we're going to get a chance to talk about. Do you think we could cover this in 7 minutes?
I mean, we could. We could. We stick to just the topic. We can do it. I got it.
All right. All right. Let me go real quick. First topic, number one. The first topic I want us to be able to hit upon is the power of authenticity. I think this is going to be a great topic. It's going to be exploring basically how being true to oneself and embracing your vulnerabilities can enhance your leadership effectiveness and inspire others to do great things. So your authenticity, that's my first topic that I want us to be able to build on.
All right. So first for me, we just talked about it, navigating change, how important it is with clear communication, fostering a positive mindset, providing support. I'm gonna tell you, this is very important, and it's more than at work. For me, the navigating change, the key has been the communication with my wife. I may never have dropped a retirement packet, except she put my retirement date on this big barrel bar she had engraved. So I really have to retire in 2024. Uh, that's communication. It was nonverbal, but she communicated she was ready. So I think navigating change is really important to understand because it happens whether it's a curriculum change, a life
Right.
change, whatever it is. So that's
All
my
right.
first one.
Navigating change. All right. So number two for me, the next topic I want to be able to get into, and these are all topics were for episodes individuals. All right, is building a culture of trust, which I think there's a really big personal reason why I want to get into this right now. But basically, give the overall of is discussing the crucial role trust plays in leadership and followership. And exploring strategies to foster a culture of trust within teams and organizations. Trust is a foundation you're going to build upon. So that's my second one.
All right. I think that in that one too, we can nest, empower, and delegate, which we talked about doing. I think that's where
Ooh,
it fits real good too. My next one though is building high performance teams. I think this is something that we as senior leaders in the Army, we get really good at this because you need to, because I can only be successful based on what my team does to make me successful. So I think
right.
that that's why building high performance teams, whether it's civilian sector, military sector, really important. And it takes time and it takes hard decisions. Sometimes somebody's not good for the team and you got to remove them and bring
Yeah.
somebody else in. So yeah.
All right. So hey, my number three topic I want for episodes for us is going to be strategic thinking. Strategic thinking is the ability to envision a bigger picture, anticipate future challenges and opportunities, and devise well-informed plans to achieve a long-term goal. It's a fundamental skill for leaders as if it enables them to navigate complex business landscapes, or I want to say also our operational environment landscapes, and make sound decisions that drive organizational success. Strategic thinking is that overarching that I want us to get into, and we're going to talk it. So,
Yeah. Big picture is important, Brian. Very
yeah.
important. I think part of that big picture too, we can go with my next topic, which is building resilience. A wise
Ooh,
man recommended a book to me, The Growth Mindset Playbook. I think that will help. And I told
that's a
you
good
the
book.
last year and even this year, I've really focused on self care. I'm telling you, so far this year, we're 15 days in. I have journaled every day. I've meditated every day. I have been on the Peloton every day. Those self care steps help to build that resilient thing. So I
Mhm.
think that's why we did an episode on resilience, but I think there's going to be a lot different approach here, Brian.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to that one because you you definitely have some resilience in you, and I can't wait to hear some stories because that's what we want to incorporate in some of this stuff. Is when we're hitting these topics, we're going to hit on our stories that we've always done before, and I think we're going to bring out some new stories that people have never heard. So, hey, my number four topic that I want us to talk about is the future of leadership. Right? Um, how you led in the past can't always be how you lead in the future. However, as things do change, the operational environment, the dynamics of the world, you're going to have to learn to deal with things such as remote working, digital transformation,
Oh,
the need for agile leadership. We also are going to provide some insights into how leaders can
yeah.
adapt and thrive in the ever changing landscape and ensuring their organizations stay ahead. Listeners will kind of gain vulnerability insights into the skills and the mindsets required to lead in the future. I'm really big into that, and I think uh, we're going to do some great things by looking at the future of leadership.
I cheated, Brian. You just gave me another one. But
I'm going to write it down, man.
so yeah, with future leadership, I mean, so one of the things I like to delve into is the informal leadership. So that's those characteristics of informal leaders. We've talked about informal leaders on the show before. Some people who, by virtue of their grade or position or wherever they sit in the company, are not in leadership positions, but still have a great impact and influence on the organization beyond that scope of what you would expect from them in their current position.
Mm,
I love informal leadership. I like to point it out to people currently in my job. So I think that this will be a fantastic, and it's really
mhm.
just diving deeper into something we've mentioned before.
Yeah. Hey, my final topic, number 5, that I'm excited for us to get into: fostering a positive team culture. Creates a Basically creating a culture of collaboration, celebration, and continuous improvement. That's what I want us to be able to dive into with this. How do we encourage our teammates to use teamwork and recognize their achievements and then promote learning and development opportunities? A positive team culture will propel teams towards greatness. That's my number 5. What's your number 5 before we finally sign off, my friend?
All right. My number 5 is lifelong learning or continuous learning and growth. Another topic. We've talked about it many, many, many times. I think here we can do a better deep dive into it and really elaborate on some why this is so important and how we can implement it in our organization.
All right. Hey, thank you so much, Ed. I'm glad we got together. We have literally 1 minute left to get this within our time limit that we're trying to set for ourselves. Real quick, within 30 seconds, how can they get a hold of us?
Oh boy, Brian, they can check us out on all social media at 101 Influence on Instagram, Facebook, and I guess now X, not Twitter, but they can look for us on social medias. Go ahead, like us, like the pages, give us a thumbs up, and then also, of course, on YouTube.
All right. Hey, with that, I am Brian.
And I am James.
And this has been the Instinctive Influencers Podcast. We're excited to get this next season started. Thank you for listening.